Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloodee Jacob here to bring you my top 10, mostly, some honorable mentions in there, but mainly my top 10 movies of the year. I know it's 2018 already, but, I just wanted to make sure I had my list nailed down the way I wanted it to, and, consider movies I may not have thought of, and just make sure I was, like I said, nailed down and just make sure I was set and satisfied with my own rankings. I wouldn't be switching them back and forth 20 times at like 3 in the morning or something. Two things about it though. Besides my hair, I know it's really messed up just because of work lately. So I'm going to be doing this video mostly with this picture. It's not really going to see too much of my face in this one. But with a list like this, of course, it is somewhat rotatable, except for maybe the last, 3 to 4 or so. I think it's pretty rotatable. At least 5, 6, and 7, perhaps. I don't know. Or maybe 5, 6, 7, and 8 and 9 are kind of rotatable. Maybe, I don't know. So maybe I'll watch one of these movies again. Maybe it'll go higher at some point in my mind. Maybe it'll go lower. And another thing is, I didn't see every movie this year. I do movie reviews on my channel, but I'm not one of those that solely focuses on that, so I don't make a point to try and see every movie that plays in theaters or anything like that. I see what I really want to see. And then, of course, there's movies I didn't get to. There's movies I heard good things about that I just didn't see for one reason or another. And this is also just my personal list. You don't have to bash my pick or, bash my pick if it's a lot higher than you would put it. If you think the movie sucks, but I have it number 3, number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know. But it's just my pick. It's what I enjoyed the most. I'm thinking about the initial theater experience, but also how each movie has resonated with me too, and how I think of it at this point, which I think is fair and obvious. Like an honorable mention I could throw out right now that almost made it on the list is Split. Of course, M. Night Shyamalan. I think so, right? I'm right about that. Yep. Anyway, of course, starring James McAvoy. But I also really liked Anya Taylor-Joy in this. Anya Taylor-Joy is one of my favorite actresses out there nowadays. So both of them gave, definitely pretty good performances. It was a pretty engaging and intense thriller. It was also pretty psychological. So Split is definitely one I wanted to bring up at least. And there's still movies in my my stack by my TV that I still haven't gotten to. Most of them are kind of older movies. But there's one like The Villainous is just a random one I'm gonna watch soon. It came out this year. That sounds pretty good. That's my only real main honorable mention, I guess. There are things there are a few movies I wanted to address first though. There's Justice League, which I liked, I enjoyed. But I'm definitely one of those that just wishes they would have given Zack Snyder his free reign, and we had gotten Zack Snyder's initial plan and style of it, without all those scenes being cut out and without the forced lighter tone and even more comedy than there already would have been. It just really messed with the movie, and it definitely brought it down for me knowing all that and just seeing it myself. I still liked it though, but it's definitely not going to be on my list. Another one that's not on here that people would think of is maybe Thor Ragnarok, which I liked. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Maybe I could squeeze that in on a spot on this list if I really wanted to, but for me there's a little bit too much comedy in it. It was funny, I did laugh, but there are definitely scenes and moments that should have been taken pretty much 100% seriously, and they didn't. Either they didn't at all, or they made it a really fleeting quick moment where it should have gotten a big focus and big sort of payoff or resonance or something like that. And in Thor Ragnarok didn't really have that. I did like the ending. I liked what happened with Thor personally. Just in terms of something physical that may have happened to his character. I thought that was cool. I thought you've seen this tease in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler, but there's a couple of moments where Thor unleashes more of his power, and that was pretty good. So it's definitely not a bad movie. I did like it quite a bit. But I'm not really putting it on the list. I was debating between this and another Marvel or another MCU movie actually, but you'll see what that one is, which is my number 7. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Another one, the last one I wanted to make sure I address is Spider-Man: Homecoming. I liked it. I thought it was okay, alright. I didn't really love it like a lot of people seem to. Vulture was an alright villain. I'm not crazy about Michael Keaton like some are. Vulture is alright. I think Tom Holland does a pretty good job as, Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And I know it's in Spider-Man's nature to be, quippy and, have a lighter nature to him sometimes, with his sarcasm. But, again, it was a movie with too much comedy, and there wasn't enough of, the heart to the character in the movie, I feel like, except when he was lifting, the rubble off himself, which is just a minor spoiler. I'm sure you've all seen it. But he really has to put a lot of his heart into it, and he's really worried and scared, but he, pushes through it anyway. And I also thought Tony Stark was too much of an influence on him. He shouldn't have tried to live up to Tony Stark throughout the whole movie. It was kind of weird. But I liked it. I think I'll have to rewatch it again. And I think the more movies Tom Holland plays the character, the better they're going to get. So yeah. And now in terms of the actual list, why don't we start off with number 10. So yeah, my 10th favorite movie of the year, the one that just cracked the list, is going to be Ghost in the Shell. Which I know a lot of people probably didn't have on their list, but I did because I liked it a lot. And yes, I watched the original anime, which I also enjoyed. I did reviews of both the original anime and this live action version on my channel. If you want to check it out, feel free to search. It'll be right there. But I liked it. I thought Scarlett Johansson did a pretty good job. She definitely is in a more interesting role in this than she is as just like Black Widow that we know her for now. Visually I thought it was pretty interesting. I know there's a lot of controversy around it, supposed whitewashing and everything like that. I get what people mean with it, but I didn't really think it harmed, the movie for me that much. I guess maybe I was just more casual about, watching it. And just seeing the anime right beforehand, I thought it captured at least the spirit and like the general idea of it pretty well. It wasn't quite as detailed as the anime, of course, which is kind of expected. But I still thought it, like I said, captured the spirit and sort of general idea of it, well enough. I did find Major to be pretty interesting, and yeah, again with the controversy, I get it, but their idea is basically to get a bigger star in there, a bigger name, more money, or whatever it was. They tried to explain it in a way, through how she was created, and it sort of made sense, sort of didn't, I guess. But overall, I still found it to be a pretty good time, and I did like it quite a bit. I enjoyed seeing it with my girlfriend. A lot of these I've seen with my girlfriend. Not all of them, though. But yeah, so number 10 is going to be Ghost in the Shell. And number 9 will certainly surprise a lot of people as well. I was happy not to see this next one on too many worst of list, or at the worst I've seen it was like a dishonorable mention, but I know there's probably very few people that would have put it on their top 10 best, but I put it on mine because I'm a fan of this series, and the movie I'm referring to is Underworld Blood Wars, which of course is the 5th entry in the Underworld series, I think. Yeah, there's been a lot of them. There's gonna be at least one more film from what I've gathered. But I really liked Underworld Blood Wars. I think it's my second, maybe third favorite in the series, depending. I know these movies are oftentimes thrown in with the Resident Evil live action films. But I honestly think there's more to them than that. There's actually at least a little effort put into characters and history and lore, which doesn't really apply to the live action Resident Evil movies, which just butchers its source material and simplifies it into a mindless shooter, which Underworld has plenty of, but they do make effort on other ends as well, I believe. I find Selene to be a much more compelling character, and I liked her journey here. And I like the return to sort of like the vampire clan and the vampire sort of politics of it all too. And I thought seeing Celine's development by the end of the movie, the reason for her white hair and where she is in terms of the vampire leadership, at the end of the movie, I'll say is a pretty good move for the series, I think. Some stuff was done with Michael, which it's kind of odd, but I was not a big fan of the relationship anyway. And I did see this, and this is something else I should mention. I did see this on my own. I watched a very late showing of it in 3D, and I was literally the only one in the theater. It was a very late showing, and it had been in theaters for a little bit. But I decided I really wanted to catch it in theaters, so I did, and it was a good experience. The 3D wasn't really needed. They didn't really try to make the movie for 3D anyway, but I decided to just do it, for something different. But I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed myself watching it, and I think there's stuff you can get into with these movies. It's not it's like a popcorn action, sci-fi horror flick, but I think there's other things to actually be intrigued by and feel a little invested in anyway. So yeah, number 9 is going to be Underworld Blood Wars. Number 8 is one I was pretty surprised with how much I enjoyed, and that is Happy Death Day. Well, it was a really, really nice time. I got a pretty big kick out of it, being a fan of horror movies and, the slasher genre in particular. So I thought that was a good, sort of tribute and parody to that, as well as, like, Groundhog Day or other, scenarios like that. I thought it was a really different and just an enjoyable time for me, if that makes any sense. Enjoyable time for me, real specific. But what really made it was definitely the lead performance of Jessica Rothe, who of course played Teresa. Of course the blonde in the image I have there. I thought she did a really nice job. She played the brat, stuck up, arrogant, sort of just, I'll say it, bitch, pretty well. But as the movie went along, as she got more and more paranoid and scared of what was happening over and over and who was trying to kill her, she really embodied the role. And then also when she tries to sort of just go through the motions to figure it out, she gets her sort of confidence back. That's fun as well. But also towards the end of the movie, we see some depth and some pretty solid acting chops from her as well that I was pretty pleased with. And just all the kill montages where she gets really tired of it, of her being killed by someone. It's a lot of fun, and I liked it. And I'm definitely really, really eager to buy this on Blu-ray this month. So yeah, number 8 is Happy Death Day. And number 7 is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And this is the other Marvel movie or MCU movie I was talking about. It's being this or Thor Ragnarok, somewhere around here. I do like Thor more as a character, more than, the Guardians. But, I just thought, I complained a lot about Thor Ragnarok in the opening. And I don't really have much to complain about with the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I think it was even better than the first one. It was funnier. Sure, maybe some of the humor doesn't really stick, for that long afterward, because, I don't really remember too many jokes, I'll admit. But, what really made the movie for me was that not only in the initial experience was it funnier, but also it was Michael Rooker, Yondu, and what they ended up doing with him and with his arc in the movie, I thought was really surprisingly impactful and really well acted by Michael Rooker. Chris Pratt was pretty good too, but Michael Rooker definitely carried it, and I liked what they did with the character. Kurt Russell is an alright villain, not one of the best, but also definitely not one of the worst MCU villains. Batista, he's fun as always, and there's a little bit of depth shown to him when Mantis sort of reads his actual emotion and how he feels. Nebula and Gamora I thought were fun to see more of in this movie. Of course, Rocket as always. Baby Groot I don't like much as adult Groot, but it's a fun little gimmick for one movie, I suppose. Probably more entertaining than Teenage Groot's going to be, but we'll see. But yeah, number 7 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Turns out to be a really good combination of a lot of humor, but also it has that really nice emotional character-driven payoff, with Yondu and Star-Lord and everything like that. So yeah, Number 7 is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 6 was a movie I really liked a lot. One I grabbed on Blu-ray pretty quickly when it was released, and that is Atomic Blonde, directed by the same of John Wick and everything like that, I believe, and of course starring Charlize Theron. Yeah, it's definitely like a John Wick style movie, which I haven't really watched too much of, to be honest. But I found Atomic Blonde to be a very good film. It was suspenseful and intriguing with the spy plot and the conspiracy and everything like that. But what really led this was Charlize Theron's lead performance, as well as just sort of the way the action is filmed, which is really nice. On par with what you always hear about John Wick. And it sort of has like that staircase, fight scene that we hear about, with like the Netflix stuff lately with Daredevil and Punisher and everything like that. But Charlize Theron really sold it. I mean, not only does she show a lot of acting chops in this one, we already know she's a really good actress, but this is some of the best I've ever seen of her. But in the action scene, she tried to do a lot of her own stunts as well, and I can see it here because a lot of the choreography is great and it looks natural. It's brutal, yet really nicely and sort of cleverly done, but also very real. So it doesn't feel like fake, kung fu kind of thing. And it had a lot of style to it too. I found it to be a little bit more intriguing in terms of like coloring and just the way it was shot, a little bit more so in John Wick. And I really hope it gets a sequel. If John Wick can get a third movie coming up, I would at least hope this would get one more movie. And I really believe Atomic Blonde hasn't been talked about enough, because I thought it was just a really good action, thriller film that I really enjoyed, and I can't wait to actually have my girlfriend watch it. So yeah, number 6 is Atomic Blonde. Number 5 is going to be War for the Planet of the Apes. Of course, the third and final film, as far as we know, in the Apes trilogy, with Matt Reeves. Of course, Andy Serkis is Caesar, the final chapter to his story, as far as we know. Of course, starring Woody Harrelson as well. And a lot, this isn't everyone's favorite movie in the series. Mine is still probably Dawn as well. But I still found War to be very good. It was a good closing to what built up since Rise. Yeah, some people criticize it because it's called War, and they say, oh, there's not enough action, or there's not enough battles, or whatever. But it was really driven by its psychological warfare, and just them being held captive, almost like in a fairly dark and gritty, like Holocaust style. And the conversations back and forth between Caesar and Woody Harrelson's character I thought were interesting, as well as what happens with Caesar's family, within the beginning or so. It really brought it around full circle. I made it feel like a really complete story. And visually, they actually do see is well done as well. Just almost nothing to complain about with this movie. I really enjoyed it, and I am one of those that agrees that Andy Serkis does deserve some kind of award for his work, because he just did great in this and the others as well. So yeah, number 5 is going to be War for the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, I said number 5, right? Yeah, number 5, War for the Planet of the Apes. Number 4 is going to be Wonder Woman. Of course, directed by Patty Jenkins and starring Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Diana. I don't know why it took me a second to think of her, first name, but yeah, definitely one of the best comic book films overall for quite a while. This and Man of Steel are probably my favorites of the DC cinematic universe so far, the DCEU or whatever you want to call it. I still love Man of Steel, probably still like that one a little more. But Wonder Woman was great. It lives up to pretty much all the hype. I would guess some people had this one at their number 1. It's probably within my top 10 favorite comic book movies of all time, actually, at least. Gal Gadot, she does a really nice job here. She's charming. I believe in what kind of just ideals she has, and her views of the world. I like how they're developed and they're changed, but they're meshed in a really good way towards the end. Chris Pine's pretty good. He's likable, and the action is really nice as well. I know some people complain about the climax, being over the top or whatever, and it messed with it. I don't think so. I thought it was pretty epic. Yeah, Ares could look a little bit different, but I still thought it was a really epic as hell, moment, with her power, and when she finally, defeats him eventually, of course. And, the whole love thing with Steve Trevor, it was a little bit cheesy, but I still thought it worked, at least, within my first viewing or two. Like I say, he's a still pretty likable presence in the movie, too. And Gal Gadot, she's perfect. People complain about her, still being too skinny or something, but she's pretty damn fit if you follow her on social media at all. And she definitely, perfects all the little... like I said, all the ideals and sort of just the nature of the character. I thought she represents very well, and just the way she the way she treats kids and stuff. It's really nice to see that outside of the studio and everything. So yeah, number 4 is going to be Wonder Woman. Really, really great movie. One I almost wanted higher as well. It was actually around number 3 or 2 at one point, so it's, again, one of those things that maybe it'll change when I watch, some of these again, maybe not, I don't know. But for now, my number 3 is actually going to be one that people have a little less commonly as well, and that is Kong Skull Island. I really, really, really like this, if not loved it. I'm not that big into Star Wars, honestly, but I've said before that it's kind of like Batman and, like anything Godzilla is sort of my Star Wars. That's what I get hyped for. And the fact that this is connected to current American Godzilla, which I absolutely love that version of. I can't wait for the sequel, King of the Monsters. Since it's connected to that, it just makes me all the more excited. I thought King Kong was done perfectly in this movie, not just in terms of effects, but how he's written to behave and act. I thought it was very accurate to how he should be. Visually, I thought it was pretty good all around as well. I really liked John C. Reilly in this movie. Yeah, he was used for exposition at the beginning, but he's a comic relief, and he's also a character with a little bit of history too, and I cared about him. Tom Hiddleston is pretty good, so is Brie Larson. Samuel L. Jackson's just sort of being Samuel L. Jackson, but he was fine. John Goodman I also liked quite a bit. I wish there was a little more of him in the movie, though. But definitely a really good cast, and like I said, it nailed Kong, and that's definitely the most important part for me. If Godzilla and Kong are done this well, the rest of the movie I'm going to be fine with. I'm going to love it anyway. And the rest of the movie is good too, so that's why Kong is number 3. Yeah, I liked it that much. Definitely should have got something to drink, though. But yeah, my top 2. My absolute... yep, right here. My absolute favorite movies of the year. Like I said, these final 4 I was debating quite a bit. One point I had Wonder Woman a little bit higher, one point not. But for now, my number 2, my favorite movie of the year is gonna be It. I really, really liked it, and it's resonated with me really, really well. It's settled with me well. It's only gotten better in my head when I start thinking about it again. Another movie I'm really eager to buy on Blu-ray this month. Bill Skarsgård, Pennywise. I watched the original miniseries movie kind of thing. Tim Curry's fine, but Bill Skarsgård just nails it. He's very creepy. He's still funny to watch, but he definitely has a creepier, more intimidating presence to him, I feel like, and he just embodied it so well. I love the atmosphere and tone to the movie. It's very gloomy, very Stephen King-like in a very appropriate and fitting way. I love the whole cast, playing the kids, especially the actress who played Beverly. I liked quite a bit, as well as Ben, as well as of course, the actor from Stranger Things. And it's just great, because not only did it nail the main threat of Pennywise, but also, the characters, the kids had a lot of chemistry as well. I'm not saying in the sequel, but from what I read, they're still going to be used in flashbacks, which is cool. But yeah, great start, and I also think it's smart of them to divide it into 2 parts instead of making it like a 4-hour movie. But yeah, it was just about perfect, honestly. So yeah, my second favorite movie of the year is It. And now my number 1, my very favorite movie all year is definitely going to have to be Logan. And some of you probably should have seen this one coming. But yeah, Logan, my favorite movie of the year. I watched Hugh Jackman's Wolverine ever since I was little. I seen the first X-Men movie when it came out, and I've watched every one since. I even liked X-Men Origins Wolverine. Despite the fucked up Deadpool thing, I still liked it, and I liked every one that he appeared in. So, this I was definitely anticipating. Is almost like the send off and sort of closing to a little chapter of my childhood, really. And Hugh Jackman, I already knew he was a really good actor, but this, he just gives such a powerful and a really real performance. I thought he was amazing. He deserves an Oscar, honestly, even though I know they're not going to nominate it for whatever the reason, but he just delivers such a great performance. The actress who played X-23 as well did a really nice job. In my opinion, they should use her again before they ever recast Wolverine, but we know it's probably not going to go that way, unfortunately. But no one's going to be able to top Hugh Jackman, just the journey and the arc he's taken with Logan for so long now, 17 years since he started. It was very brutal. It definitely helped that it was an R rating. So we got plenty of brutal slashes and kills and just rage mode. It was great. A lot of people have always wanted to see that, me included. But where the heart really lied and where it really made it, what really made it number one for me, like I said, was Hugh Jackman's performance. Just the heart of the character, his dynamic with X-23 really nailed it. The ending was very impactful for me. It really affected me. I'll admit I cried. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It just worked that well. Great payoff and great conclusion to the character's story. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen him in an Avengers movie, but there's not going to be a more fitting ending for any character, really, and this just works so damn well. It was about perfect. Patrick Stewart, of course, is very good as well. And this really makes you think back to a lot of the moments as well. And it's a really sad, tragic story, but really fitting end for the character. And there's a lot to take out of it, I believe. So yeah, those are my favorite movies of the year. Let me know yours. Like I said, don't bash any of mine. This is just my personal list. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think about all this. What are your most anticipated movies for 2018, perhaps? And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, like, subscribe. Been working a lot lately, so I haven't been doing as many videos as I normally like to, unfortunately. But I at least wanted to do this list. So yeah, catch you guys next time. Peace.